What is up, peeps? It's FWTVHD here, and I'd like to welcome you back to another YouTube video. And today we're doing something kind of new to the channel. This is actually going to be discussing the newer cards that are out in the newest set that is due to release in May, which is Sun and Moon Forbidden Lights. This set, I believe, has been released in Japan. Some cards have come to fruition for us to see and evaluate to see how they're going to fit into the current meta, the standard format that may be, and also potentially the expanded format, see how some cards may work. But today we're going to be discussing the new supporter card, which is Bonnie. Now, this card actually looks pretty good so far, although it is slightly situational and is relying on certain things to be, in play. So we'll start off by reading what it says, and then we can discuss how we feel like it may, play a role in the current format. So it's a supporter card, so you can only play it once per turn, of course. You can only play this card if there is a stadium card in play, and discard a stadium card in play. During this turn, your Zygarde-GX may use its GX attack even if you have already used its GX attack this game. You can only play one supporter card during your turn before you attack. This is absolutely phenomenal. This allows you to reuse a GX attack. Bear in mind, it's only for Zygarde, so of course this will only be played in Zygarde decks. It's completely pointless to play in any other decks. However, Zygarde is looking to be a good card as well, so it's not like Bonnie is not gonna see play. In fact, Zygarde could fit into decks similar to that of Buzzwole or Lycanroc. It could really work. It works very well with strong energy. We will, of course, probably make a video on Zygarde-GX to discuss how he would fit into the format, and we can go into more detail there. If I've uploaded that video by the time this comes out, I'll place a card annotation. If not, I will place a card annotation whenever that video comes up. But we are going to talk about Bonnie here. Now, this card, I'm actually really excited about. A card that, I think it's the first card that allows you to reuse the GX attack, which is one turn per game. Now, the thing is, this card is only as powerful as the GX attack that you're using. So let's see if we could just quickly find the translations for his GX attack. So for Zygarde's GX attack, it is Judgment GX, 150 damage. Now, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks of your opponent's GX or EX Pokemon. So you can't, of course, you can't use more than one GX per turn or per game. This is actually a really good GX attack. This does damage as well as acts as a wall, does the same thing Hooper does with his ability, and everyone knows exactly how that works. So this could fit into the Hooper decks. Obviously you will have to juggle energy a bit more, because I know with Hooper you will need the dark energy in order to potentially do damage, but maybe you could just use Hooper as a wall as you start using your enhanced hammers, and your I think it's crushing hammer, yeah, just your crushing hammers, enhanced hammers. You start using that to really delay your opponent, start milling the deck. This card can fit in very well with its GX attack, and Bonnie is going to be fantastic for allowing you to reuse that attack, which is absolutely amazing. If you put set amount, of course you can only have the maximum of 4 Bonnie in a deck, but if you have 4 stadiums in play, sorry, not 4 stadiums in play, 4 stadiums in your deck, you have the potential to use your GX attacks 5 times, which is fantastic. Using your GX attack 5 times in one game is insane. And the fact that stadiums are played more and more nowadays, you have Brooklet Hill, of course, one of the more powerful stadium cards, which I think will fit perfectly in a Zygarde deck, of course, with it being a fighting type. So that's fantastic. And then, of course, you have other stadium cards like Parallel City, which again is seeing a lot of play in the more recent Buzzwole Garbodor deck. So even that card is going to be in play. Even if your opponent plays Parallel City, it will benefit you if you're looking to play Bonnie. Of course, you have your Tapu Lele, which allows you to get a supporter. So with Tapu Lele in deck, you're up in the consistency, and you're more able to grab a Bonnie where needed. Again, with Zygarde, of course, you've got your strong energies you can attach. You're going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. 150 is a good number anyway. The math does add up with choice bands and things like that, so that's great. Again, we'll go into more discussion with that in the Zygarde video. So overall, this card is looking pretty good. Now, of course, its downside is it's super situational. You need a Zygarde in play. You need a Zygarde to have the energy attached in order to allow his GX attack to be done. And also, you need a stadium card in play. So it's a bit more of a... You need to set up and you need to get things going before you can play Bonnie. It's not a first-turn supporter, so it's not going to be that great in that merit. Maybe you could put 1 or 2 of them in your deck, to replace N. You can have 2 Ns and 2 Bonnies. I wouldn't say replace. If you're playing 4 N, you can, drop the N down to 2 and play 2 Bonnies, because I've realized nowadays N is being played more for an end game type situation to drop your opponent down rather than a more early game, which I see a lot of people do online, but I don't really feel like N is very great in the early game unless you have to play it. But that's another discussion. I think Bonnie can fit very well in this type of deck, but as I said, it is super situational. You can only play it in the one form of deck, so it really does depend on how well the deck can do. You need Zygarde in your deck in order to do it, so it's obviously going to be a Zygarde deck. Maybe you can do Zygarde Zoroark. That might be a good thing. With Zoroark playing double colorless, your Zygarde will also need double colorless, so Zygarde Zoroark could work. So that will allow Bonnie to come into play. So Bonnie is looking really good. Again, it's just the fact that it's super situational. You need a stadium card in play, but again, that might not be too hard. You can play a Skylar the turn before if you really need to. Grab yourself a stadium card, get your Brooklet Hill out. Usually in the fighting decks, you won't play a Bridget and you'd rather play Nest Balls and Brooklet Hills, so you might want to get your Brooklet Hill out on the first turn anyway in a fighting deck. I try and do that as much as I can as well. I try and get Brooklet Hill out right away so I can just start building my bench. So that way, again, Bonnie is going to work. So again, the only downfall is you do need to charge up your Zygarde before, as I've mentioned. So there's some cons, but it seems like there's a lot more benefits. We do have to see how this plays out. Again, it very much depends on how good Zygarde is. If Zygarde's not good, Bonnie's not going to be good. It really does depend on that. They do work in synergy together. But that's really that. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you think this is going to be a good card? Do you think there's cards that can do better, and this card is not needed, or do you think this card is just going to come out? No one's really going to be bothered, and it's just not going to be played very much. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if there's any cards you'd like me to review from the newest set. Thank you very much for watching. I'll leave you to it now, and peace.